Upon taking office, we created the strategies to reach an inclusive vision and equitable solutions, more commonly known as HoCo Strives. HoCo Strives is a holistic approach to support our most vulnerable students and families by providing wraparound services outside of the classroom to support academic learning, and these services are needed now more than ever. The COVID-19 pandemic has been hard on all of us. And as a former educator and parent of 2 children in our public school system, I know firsthand that making sure our children receive a quality and rigorous education virtually is challenging. I also recognize that my family has been blessed with the resources and the flexibility that many other families don't have. It's those children and those families that I, along with many other leaders here today, continue to be concerned about and work for. That's why I'm pleased to announce 3 new CARES Act funding investments that will help ensure all of our students and families are supported during this health crisis. We will be directing $750,000 toward the Howard County Scholars Program, $100,000 toward food access through our award-winning Roving Radish program, and $450,000 toward digital equity for access to broadband and the internet to support virtual learning. The new Howard County Scholars Program will target 144 of our middle school students from Wild Lake, Oakland Mills, Lake Elkhorn, Harper's Choice, Elkridge Landing, Patuxent Valley, and Dunlogan. This program is scheduled to run through December. Additionally, we will be offering transportation to and from these locations, along with meals for our students. I'm grateful for the leaders of Tomorrow Youth Center who will administer the program and provide students with virtual learning support and supplement virtual learning with social and emotional development and enrichment activities. Howard County remains committed to being data-informed and people-driven. And we'll be tracking attendance, participation, attitudes, and social and emotional learning capacities to help ensure that this program is working for our students. The second tranche of this funding of $100,000 will go to the Roving Radish program for serving families who are unable to access other food resources in our county. The Roving Radish will deliver 4 meal kits and a box of fresh and healthy groceries each week until the end of the year. I want to thank our Roving Radish administrator, James Zoller, and his entire team for their work throughout this pandemic, ensuring that Howard County residents have access to locally grown, healthy food while ensuring that our Howard County farmers also can deliver their wares to our families' dinner tables. Recently, James and the Roving Radish team moved into a new, expanded retail space in the Long Reach Village Center as part of our Long Reach Rising initiative. That move will help in the preparation and distribution efforts of these meals. And finally, one of the biggest challenges we've seen around our state and nation when it comes to supporting virtual learning and our students is making sure that every family has access to broadband and the internet has it. Digital equity and eliminating the digital divide has been a priority for us since taking office, but has been ramped up during this COVID response. And I want to acknowledge our Chief Innovation Officer, Angela Cabellin, and Brandy Gans, our Director of the Department of Technology and Communications, who have been working nonstop throughout this health crisis. The over $1 million in CARES Act funding going toward these efforts will support bringing broadband and internet services to our communities who may not otherwise be able to afford access, or our rural communities in Howard County that may be too remote. And I'd also like to thank our partners at Comcast and Verizon for providing reduced rates for internet access to those in need, and I am very grateful to our friends and partners with Bright Minds Foundation, who will be subsidizing these reduced rates to qualifying families so that they can receive access to the internet at no cost. These efforts will ensure that all students who need the internet access to learn will have no barriers to getting online. HoCo Strives was created to support our education outreach efforts in fostering an environment for ready and successful students. When we created this vision, we could not foresee what a critical role it would play during this health crisis. And I'm so proud of the ingenuity, compassion, and effort that HoCo Strives has provided to some of our most vulnerable families and children during this time. Howard County is known throughout our state and nation as having some of the most educated populations and one of the best school systems overall. And we will continue working together to redouble our efforts toward being the best place for learning and growth for all, regardless of any number of factors, including ability or socioeconomic influence. We will not be able to do any of this much needed assistance without the CARES Act funding. And on behalf of all of our residents, I want to thank our congressional delegation, Senators Cardin and Van Hollen, and Congress members Ruppersberger, Sarbanes, and Mfume, and all of the others who helped ensure that this bill was passed in Capitol Hill. The best way that we're going to get to the other side of this health crisis is by working together, united in all of our communities and all levels of government, federal, state, and local. And as evident over the last several months, we are at our very best when we unite for the public health, safety, and well-being of all of our residents. Together, we will help ensure that none of our children or families are left behind. Thank you.
Our county executive has announced many wonderful initiatives this morning to advance equity, and I will briefly provide more information through the lens of an educator. The HoCo Strives program has helped eliminate barriers to equity by creating a no-cost summer program, and we are proud to collaborate on these meaningful student-centered activities with the Howard County Department of Community Resources and Services. During the program, students participated in enrichment activities that developed their academic skills and provided access to high-quality programming. Students were able to select from a menu of activities such as art, physical education, and creative writing. The Howard County Public School System hired site coordinators to manage the program, was a planning partner, recruited participating students, and thoughtfully co-planned each enrichment. This wonderful program served approximately 60 students this past summer, and we hope to continue to see it grow and support even more students. I'm extremely appreciative and supportive of any efforts to eliminate food insecurities across our county. Our county executive and myself talk about this constantly. We should not have any food insecurities in our county. This summer, schools served a total of 275,000 grab-and-go summer meals at 14 distribution sites between July 1st and August 28th. This represents a 405, yes, I said a 405% increase over the approximately 68,000 meals we served last summer during 2019. Our fall meal service began on the first day of school in all school meal locations and is free of charge for all students through December 31st, subject to funding availability from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Even with this level of food access for our students, we know that the reality is that food insecurities impact not only our children, but their parents, guardians, and other adults across our county. And I commend the county executive, our county, and the county and Roving Radishes on your wonderful collaboration. Finally, it's exciting to see the needed expansion of broadband access points to several new areas of our county, because sufficient internet access has been a major consideration of our virtual instruction program. We are working to provide internet access to student households currently without it. To date, we have provided over 450 hotspots and 500 Internet Essentials vouchers to schools for distribution to their families who need support in acquiring internet access. This effort is supported by Bright Minds Foundation through the sponsorship of Comcast Internet Essentials and Hotspots as part of our Access to Learning Fund. I appreciate that the Executive Director of Bright Minds, Liz Cramen, is here today, and for everything, and I thank her for everything that she has done for her wonderful organization to support our schools and students. Once again, thank you, Dr. Ball, and everybody in attendance today for the continued collaboration to provide needed supports to all members of our county who are struggling. We must do all that we can to support our children and families during this critical time.
In order to improve digital inclusion across Howard County, we established an intergovernmental digital equity working group that also includes partners from local nonprofits and broadband providers. We are committed to finding innovative solutions to bridge the digital divide that has been heightened by the pandemic. What started out as an informal collaboration has now evolved to specific intergovernmental and interdisciplinary subgroups teamed up to focus on broadband connectivity, device access, digital skills, and technical support and advocacy. In partnership with the Howard County Public School System and Bright Minds, we used school system data to develop these heat maps showing what communities had the greatest need for broadband services. We distributed over 450 hotspots, and 500 families have been provided internet service across the county. We partnered with BGE, who provided over $7,500 to Howard County students via Bright Minds. As Dr. Ball mentioned, we are currently bringing broadband services to the Long Reach Village Center, which will allow for free public Wi-Fi services to students in the area. We also added access points at the following locations so that individuals can connect to Wi-Fi. When residents frequent our attractions such as Columbia Lakefront and downtown Ellicott City, they can connect. Also, we successfully installed Wi-Fi at Clarksville Commons. We creatively added Wi-Fi access at Blandare Regional Park and Kiwanis Wallace Back Park Fields. And finally, we added Wi-Fi in lots such as the Middle Patuxent Environmental Area off Trotter Road, the Gary Arthur Community Center, and in front of the George Howard Building. As we move forward through this pandemic, we recognize the importance of community involvement as we ramp up our website. We've asked for public participation in an online survey and conducted one-on-one interviews with community stakeholders, ensuring our digital communications and website meet the needs of the Howard County residents. This feedback is critical in informing our digital equity strategy and ensuring we move toward success all together.
As the educational foundation for the Howard County Public School System, Bright Minds brings together supporters to enhance the educational opportunities for all children attending our public schools. For the past 15 years, we have worked to bridge the digital divide by gifting technology to students, over 1,600 HCPSS students, so they are able to complete homework, conduct research, participate in SAT preparation, submit college applications, and so much more. When school buildings closed in March, we sprang into action, launching the Access to Learning Fund to provide critical remote learning tools for students. Thanks to our generous community, Bright Minds has raised over $100,000 to respond to a range of student needs. More than 6,000 essential school supply packets were distributed to students at grab-and-go meal sites in the spring. The fund supported the purchase of speech-language pathology software to address social-emotional learning to more than 300 students across our county. The funds enabled us to provide Cedar Lane school students with adaptive technology, adaptive communication technology, so they can communicate with their teachers and staff. And the fund supplied elementary students with at-home learning materials, including math packets and reading at-home book sets that were custom to the students' reading level. Most recently, we have focused on internet connectivity and ensuring all students can participate and access in remote learning. By partnering with Comcast, we have provided over 500 families Internet Essentials vouchers so they may access high-speed internet. Additionally, over 450 hotspots have been deployed to provide further high-speed internet access. We will continue our efforts until each child attending Howard County Public Schools has access to the education, aspirations, and opportunities needed to succeed in school and in life. Our students continue to need support. Please visit brightmindsfoundation.org to learn more about our work and to make a donation. The Callert Foundation is currently providing a dollar-for-dollar match for all donations made to the Access to Learning Fund. Together, we can bridge the digital divide for all Howard County Public School System students. Thank you.
LTYC is an arts education nonprofit organization that supports youth ages 3 through 21 in the state of Maryland and DC with arts programs that empower young people to excel in the arts, academics, and social development. By providing opportunities and resources that otherwise would not be available, LTYC programs build high self-esteem and self-worth in young people who are yearning for success. LTYC has worked for the past 3 summers to provide arts enrichment programs to middle school students at Oakland Mills, Harper's Choice, Lake Elkhorn, and Wild Lake Middle Schools. LTYC is pleased to continue to work with Howard County to provide the Scholars Program for working families of middle school students. We have created programming that is supportive, engaging, and safe. We saw a need in the community and wanted to be responsive and provide a solution. The learning pods will allow students to not only be supported through their time with virtual learning, but they will also be exposed and afforded new opportunities in enrichment, the arts, and recreation with classes such as photography, entrepreneurship, and creative writing. We have a high focus on supporting the mental and emotional health of every student and being responsive to their needs and our ever-changing world. Throughout the program, lessons will be embedded in social justice, college and career readiness, and social and emotional learning. We will use tools and measurements to track students' gains while in this program. We are excited about this collaborative effort and the model that we have created, and we know that this will make a significant impact on the students participating. We are honored to be a part of something that is truly groundbreaking. LTYC would like to thank Howard County and its partners, inclusive of its families, for the opportunity to serve. To learn more, you may visit www.ltyc.net. Thank you.
The 50-plus centers are the hub for this service in our community. as they are hosting the HoCo Scholars Program, hence our presence here today as students are inside learning. Our programming is so important to be able to be co-located in this way. We also benefit from the partnership with DTCS as Wi-Fi access to students and families is located in our parking lots, hence where we are today. Both the Office on Aging and Independence and the Office of the Local Children's Board under DCRS have coordinated some of the food distribution programs you've heard about, in addition to school supply giveaways, and have worked across programs to be able to provide support for hundreds of families and individuals. Thank you to everyone. So while we acknowledge the challenges of COVID-19 that is brought upon us in all facets of life, it is important to note that this county remains closely connected to its community. We are working closely together to meet their needs. This initiative is a clear example of the commitment and collaboration from the highest levels of leadership and between county, state, and federal partners to work together to ensure that COVID-19 not become a barrier for any child's development or achievement. Together, we can make sure that the playing field remains level for all children, that no one is left behind, and that everyone has a clear, equitable path to a quality education and an equitable education.